My name is Sue English, and I'm actually a newbie here. Been coming up here since 1992. I just remember there was a gas station, I think, at one time down on the river, but I'm going to pass it on to people who have some history.
I'm June Steffensen, and when we first came up here, we spent our time on the river. We did not come into the slough and steamboat.
On sailboats.
With sailboats. And so our time, there was 4 sailboats that spent the time on the river. But I can remember the young people coming in to the the restaurant here and dancing. And there was always a policeman that would come and take them down to their boats to see that for sure they got back to their own boats.
Now, where were they dancing?
Right here at the...
Was it across the street or?
No, it was here.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they had, this was the spot to come to.
Can you describe, was it a restaurant here?
It was a restaurant.
Right here, not across the river?
No,
not the one
it was
across
a
the
restaurant
river.
here.
Okay. All right.
And places to purchase food. And so it's just a lot of wonderful years up here on the Delta.
Every year for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
About in July.
Yeah, 50 years we did this. We missed 1 year. And that was it. And my daughter-in-law, Debbie, and my son, Bob.
Okay. Debbie?
I actually grew up in the area in Portland and raised my children here. But my husband and I have a kind of a amusing story because we met when we were teenagers at Morgan's Landing. I was pumping gas and he brought his ski boat.
And I went there because the gas was shut down at the dock.
So it was just meant to
and
be.
Had to go up there.
So we met there. We just talked, I pumped the gas and we talked. And the next day I came down to the beach here at Steamboat with my cousin, and there he was on his boat. And so we started talking. I invited him to the 2nd annual Care Fair that year. And we dated for 2 years off and on. And then we went our separate ways, raised our families. And long story short, we've been married 7 years now. So, but he has more of the river life to share, recreating on the river.
My parents, I was born in 1954. My parents brought me up in 1955. And every year I look forward to coming here. This was a special place. On the boat, on the beach, the slough was lined with boats, and there were friends that we all would get together on the beach. And Deb and I joked that maybe when we were maybe 5, 6 years old, that her cousin brought her and I was down at the beach, and we may have been on the same beach at the same time. But I remember coming up to the store. I'd come up, there was an ice machine, and it was a thrill for me to come up for a block of ice. Put the money in, you hear it coming down the chute, or coming into the store for a soda, and a hamburger, milkshake and fries, and arcade games. There was always a baseball game, a bowler, and a crane machine. And I kind of got hooked later on in life on arcade games because of that.
How much was the hamburger?
I don't know. I wasn't buying at that time. Mom?
Probably 30 cents.
But I remember when I was a little bit older coming in, and Bud Wallace was running the bar and hamburgers. And he had a stool, and it had a battery underneath it with a little rod coming up through it. And they got a great kick out of the girls in wet bathing suits sitting on this bar stool. That's one of the things that stuck with me for all these years. And I remember later on when I was late teens, the Sea Scouts would work here, and they would leave a window open, and they would bring some beer from the store, and they would come down to the ranch and get some firewood, and we'd have a bonfire on the beach, and we'd sit up on top of the bridge and look out. A lot of good memories, and it's always been a special place, and I've been watching this for years, ever since it closed down, and I think this is just wonderful, and we will be here.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Awesome. Wasn't that great?
Yay!